So good, so good, so good.
Everything you want for summer is at Nordstrom Rack stores now, and up to 60% off. Stock up and save on the brands you love like Vince, Sam Edelman, Frame, and Free People. Join the Nordy Club to unlock exclusive discounts, shop new arrivals first, and more. Plus, buy online and pick up at your favorite Rack store for free. Great brands, great prices. That's why you Rack.
All new drinks are now at McDonald's. With refreshers like the Strawberry Watermelon Refresher and the Mango Pineapple Refresher with popping boba. To crafted sodas like the Sprite Berry Blast with berry flavors and cold foam. Who knew ice-cold drinks could be so fire? Try them all now at McDonald's.
Refreshers contain caffeine. Copyright 2026, The Coca-Cola Company. Sprite is a registered trademark of The Coca-Cola Company.
Hello and welcome to episode 499 of the Filmmakers Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk filmmaking, from indie films to studio films to high-end TV to documentaries and everything in between. How to get them in, how to make them, and how to try not to mess it up, in our very, very humble opinion. Today, filmmakers, we are stepping into the fog of 1880s Victorian London with two of the most influential figures in British television. First, he is a man whose name has become synonymous with cinematic high-stakes drama. He created the global phenomenon that is Peaky Blinders. Peaky Blinders! He gave us the visceral grit of Eastern Promises and the technical genius of Locke. He's a writer, director and producer who has just been tapped to write the next James Bond film, and is currently deep in production on the Peaky Blinders feature film. It is the legendary Stephen Knight, and joining him is a force of nature in front and behind the camera. She's the co-founder of Matriarch Productions and has been the heartbeat of some of the most intense dramas of the last decade, from her standout performances in the This Is England franchise to incredible work as both lead actress and producer on the BAFTA-winning Boiling Point series and the hit series Adolescence. It is the brilliant Hannah Walters. Hannah Walters runs her production company Matriarch Productions with her husband Stephen Graham, who not only stars in 1,000 Blows but also Adolescence as well. Hannah is fresh off a Golden Globe appearance at the 2026 Golden Globes for Adolescence, which she also produced. She's got that rare distinction of having worked with everyone from Shea Meadows to Disney. She was in Pirates of the Caribbean. Stephen Knight, by the way, obviously it was officially announced last year that he's writing James Bond 26, which is to be directed by Denis Villeneuve, and is, like I say, wrapping Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man, for Netflix. He's a CBE recipient and is a multi-BAFTA winner. So, they are here to talk about their epic and brilliant new series, 1,000 Blows. It is on Hulu and Disney now. It's the story of bare knuckle boxing. Get that right, Charles. The notorious all-female 40 Elephants gang and a battle for survival in the East End. It is inspired by true stories. It follows Hezekiah Moscow, played by Malachi Kirby, as he navigates the violent world of illegal bare-knuckle boxing and the female crime syndicate behind it. Stars Stephen Graham, as I've already mentioned, as Henry Sugar Goodson, Erin Doherty as Mary Carr, she's the ruthless lead of the 40 Elephants, and Hannah Walters, who is here on the podcast. And like I say, we've obviously had Stephen Graham and Erin Doherty on the podcast, as well as Boiling Point and Adolescence director Philip Barantini as well. Just go to the Filmmakers Podcast and type in Stephen Graham, or go to your Google, other platforms are available, and type Stephen Graham, Filmmakers Podcast, Erin Doherty, Filmmakers Podcast, and they will come up. Phil Barantini as well. It's a real treat. This is also filmed as was the Adolescence episode, which has had over, I think, 250,000 views on YouTube, on our YouTube platform, the Filmmakers Podcast on YouTube. Go support, go click the plus button and the subscribe and all that jargon. Really do help us get up there and to get more people following us and listening and all that good stuff. So, as I mentioned, Hannah and Stephen are here to talk about the epic new series, 1,000 Blows. It is amazing. We talk to Stephen about the night method. We talk about Hannah, how she balances a dual role as exec producer and actress, how she got the role, who wrote it for her. It's a secret that we're all dying to know, but it's quite obvious. And the other secret to building a production company that champions underrepresented voices as well. So Dom Lenoir sat down with the amazing Stephen Knight and Hannah Walters to chat all about 1,000 Blows. So it's time for you to enjoy the chat. I'll see you at the other side.
So Stephen,
Yes.
Hannah,
Hello.
welcome to the Filmmakers Podcast. Huge congratulations on the show. And I mean, all your work to date, both of you, is pretty impressive.
Thank you.
How are you feeling being on the second series? How have things changed since the first? What's your sort of mindset at the moment?
I mean, for me, because it was shot back to back. The two series were shot with a small gap in between. It felt as if the momentum that was driving series one goes through into series two. But in series two, we were talking earlier. It once you're in series two, you do have permission to go a bit deeper into the heads of the characters, and I think that's absolutely what happens in.
Yeah. I think we're allowed to, like you say, delve a little bit deeper into their psyche, their motivation, the real wants and needs, and perhaps the slightly darker side of us human beings as we can be. With lightness, there is dark.
Yes. I suppose the first series in any kind of show, the creation part of it is really setting up what's this world? I mean, what are the rules for the world? Who are the people?
Yeah.
Why are they important to us?
Yeah.
And trying to sort of get people hooked.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what was the intro to both of you to, deciding, okay, this is going to be the next show that I'm going to work on? Where does that process start? Yeah.
He had no choice.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what happened. I don't know if you're aware of the story, but I just got sent a picture, which is now in my office, of the real Hezekiah Moscow. And it was just an incredible image that I fell in love with and thought, who is this person? What is his story? Delved a little bit deeper and looked at some research and found that this young gentleman came from Jamaica to England to find his fortune as a lion tamer, and then became, one of the greatest boxers of that time. And I turned to my lovely husband and said, I know who should write this story. And he said, who? And I said, Steve Knight. And he said, don't be ridiculous. He's far too busy, Hannah. And I said, leave that one with me. And then I got on to Stephen. And I think you just fell in love with it as well as soon as you saw it. The whole, the rich tapestry, right, that you were given.
Yeah.
With him, the elephants.
Totally. I mean, the idea of a young man coming to England to become a lion tamer and becoming the heavyweight champion of the world. I mean, how do you resist that for a start off? And also, for a long time, I'd wanted to do something about the 40 elephants, because the 40 elephants, and that in itself is a story no writer would dare invent. And so it was all happening at the same time. And so sort of the conceit of the show is that what if Hezekiah had met the 40 elephants, and there's no one can prove that he didn't.
And then you sprinkle the Goodson brothers in there for good
Well,
measure.
the Goodsons and Hezekiah are actually, well, as you well know, are actually linked, because the Goodson brothers were real people who were fighters at the time.
So when you discovered the source material, what was then the process? I mean, I'm guessing that was the pitch, what you just sort of told me about, the very crux of the lion tamer and the boxing and the 40 elephants. But like, how did it then get from that, with this huge wealth of world, people, actual, existing scenarios, into something that was like a sort of a crafted pilot or treatment, or the workings of, okay, I can make a show for this?
It was a script. I think I just wrote a 60-minute script rather
You
than do
got
it.
so excited
Wow.
when you were like, I cannot wait to get my hands on this.
Exactly.
My brain won't switch off.
No,
You
exactly.
said to me, I can't switch it off now. It's opened this world
So,
that I can't unsee, and now I need to get it out of my head.
It's exactly how that works. It's like, as soon as those characters are there, they start moving on their own. They start going in certain directions, and you can picture it and imagine it. And so I think rather than I may have done a cursory treatment, but I think straight away did a script to just get this stuff written down, because I knew what was going to happen. And I think that was our way in, wasn't it?
Yeah. And we have amazing researchers, and then we used David's expertise as well, didn't we, for the historical elements that maybe at times we probably needed just a bit of clarification on.
Absolutely. We had fantastic from David Olsaga, who knows that world and knows the tensions and conflicts that were going on at the time, but isn't driving any particular agenda ever. He's just giving you what really happened.
It's a fact, isn't it?
Yeah. And the fact is that what was really happening is way more interesting than anything that anybody wishes has happened or imagines might have happened. So, yeah, so we had that. And of course, as well as a script, we had a fantastic cast.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, let's talk about when the first script is done. What were your thoughts on that? And then let's go into the casting, because I mean the casting is incredible. Malachi Erin is it's one of the best actors around as well.
She's Mary Carr, isn't she? She's
yeah. She's so good. Yeah, and Stephen, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, just let's talk about when you delivered the first draft that was to the sort of wider team and your reception to that, and then how we worked into the casting.
Well, we were just ecstatic when we got that first draft, as you can imagine, especially for me, because in my head I was already pre-casting and saying, right, I think we should get this person, bringing, all those people together. But there's a funny little story, because when we got the first draft, I read it, and as I was reading it, I was reading this character called Eliza, and I was thinking, do you know what? That's going to be really hard for me when they start bringing in castings for this Eliza. I don't know what I'm going to do. There's something about her that I really connect with. And then I was reading it thinking, and sometimes she sounds like me, and I just can't quite work it out. And unbeknownst to me, a little bit later, when we had a big Zoom, I was told that Steve was actually writing it for me. So that was with me in mind, shall we say.
That's amazing.
So that was that casting.
Cheeky role for yourself. I mean, you may as well. If it's a great show, why not immerse yourself twice?
Exactly.
Well, I mean, the golden rule is get the best person for the role, and Hannah was the best person for the role, so it's made it simple.
Thank you. And then as far as all the other casting was concerned, it was joyful to find these incredible people. And what we've actually managed to do is use some very established names such as Stephen, and then bring up some up and coming people, and then put on, be able to showcase incredible talent like Morgan, who had never done anything before. This was her first experience. And, to be able to do that is just a dream come true. Yeah. So, the casting was joyful.
And I think that's true as well as because, I wrote the first two and then worked with other writers on the others, but the other writers that we got were fantastic and are fantastic. And for series 2, it's the same, where you've got a room that really works. You've got individuals who really sparkle. And so we were very fortunate in that as well.
Yeah. So let's talk about the process of actually building it. I mean, was it immediately okay, Disney's the home for this? Was it kind of, okay, let's write this and see where it goes? How did that sort of fit into the end game once you'd got all the scripts and the plan that you're going to make this?
I mean, it's not just because I'm sitting beside a thing that says Disney, but
and Hulu.
Disney came in quite early, and we had some very early meetings about it. And what they did was leave us alone a lot, which is
trust, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah,
yeah.
And they were. I have to say, they were great to work with. Not just because I'm doing publicity, but they were good people to work with as a writer. And then when they started building the set,
oh my goodness me, yeah. I mean, what's lovely is, we're excited and as passionate about the project as we were, and that's what you want. You really need that, and you need that support. But like Steve said, you need somebody that collaborates and also knows that time to just step back and leave you alone. So they did that perfectly. But yeah, when they started putting up the set, it was like Disney for adults. You expected to walk around the corner and see a little queue for a ride of people going on. Do you know what I mean? Because it's so immersive.
I mean, it's a former brewery, Mortlake on the Thames, that had some buildings from the era, but massive buildings from the era. And it immediately gives you scale. And then basically incredibly talented people built the world, actually built so you could walk around corners and go upstairs and go into bedrooms. And I just thought, I want these people to build my house because it looked amazing.
Well, they hand painted the bricks.
Yeah.
There were people hand painting the bricks. It was a car park floor, just a tarmac floor, and they'd made cobbles. Each stone was hand put on. It was not like a big matting. It was put on by hand. So it was a piece of art, really.
Hopefully they didn't mix the paint with the wicked bricks for the yellow. I mean, I think it does make a massive difference, like sets or locations, like when it's real and you can just immerse in the world. I think that makes
it was real.
difference.
There was horse shite and there was chickens running around.
The smell of the era,
Yeah, there was lots of that going on.
Yeah. So what have your previous shows maybe informed going into this? Obviously, you've done Peaky Blinders. Yeah. You've done so many shows with Matriarch. I mean, like, what lessons were learnt maybe from past works in terms of how to run a new show successfully, or to the best of your abilities?
For me, this was the biggest show that we've done from Matriarch, because previous to this we had, I'm not going to say only, but we had done Boiling Point, the film, and Boiling Point, the TV series. And within that was a very small cast and crew, which has a very heavy family value attached to it. And I think for me, it was important to transfer that from that small little family to a great big 250, 350 family, but still keep that sensibility, of family looking out for each other. Everyone is equal. There is no hierarchy. I want you skipping to work. Do you know what I mean? And excited to get up in the morning and go to work. And I think we managed to instill that. And I'm very happy that we managed to do that.
Well, I think if you speak to any crew who work with Stephen and Hannah, they will tell you that the atmosphere on a set where they are around is always fantastic. So that's something that is just down to the individuals. In terms of Peaky, it's a completely different show, but there are obviously similarities in the fact that it's period. But I think from Peaky, I learned that you can put a microscope onto particular relationships that aren't changing the world, that things happening that aren't going to make even the local newspaper, but people will be interested and will lean in if it's about individuals that they, even if they're in completely different circumstances, that they can imagine themselves being in.
Human nature, isn't it?
Yeah, it's what people are,
Yeah,
I suppose that's good TV or film, isn't it? It's being able to take anyone's story and kind of make it epic and relatable. Whatever the era. What was some of the biggest challenges? I mean, you said you sort of shot them back to back, but maybe over the 2 seasons, like what were some of the hardest things to get right? Maybe on the shooting side of things.
Well, I mean, that's a question for the brilliant people who actually scheduled it and directed it. I mean, again, we're not talking even about the directors. Were fantastic that we got, and to run a ship like this, it's a lot of work. But I mean, Hannah will have more day-to-day experience.
I think locations was one of the difficult parts of the process, only because it's really hard to find places in London that have not been used before. So our locations team were really, really good at finding new places that had never been seen on TV before, very authentic. I mean, we have the most beautiful architecture in London, and we did use a lot of that. We filmed the Selfridges, the Harrods scene, didn't we? Just a Scotland Yard hotel, which is absolutely stunning. And I didn't even know that existed. There's actually a 40 Elephants bar in that hotel as well, that's dedicated to the 40 Elephants, that's got all their memorabilia in there. But yeah, I think locations was a tricky one. I think just the scale of it was also, that's always going to be tricky. From a personal point of view, wearing a corset for 13 hours, eating your dinner, standing up, that's quite a tricky one. Desperately needing the toilet and then having to, you could see the elephants, we'd all plan it together. like, do you need a wee? I need a wee. Let's all go. And there'd be like 5 of us running down.
Unfasten me.
Well, we'd just be throwing things behind us on the way. Corsets, tights, petticoats.
Costume department.
No, exactly.
Oh,
exactly.
Yeah.
And we did film in the summer as well. So that was tricky. Outside locations in the heat with all of the costumes, because those Victorians like to layer up.
Yeah. Always makes me wonder, like, how do people survive in those? Like, for me, it's like vest and flip flops and the least I can possibly wear when it's like 30 degrees.
There was a lot of fainting.
They were like wearing so much. It's like being on the tube. It's like dressing to experience what the tube's like.
Well, I mean,
voluntarily,
without getting into too many graphic details, the
sweat buckets.
Yeah.
The history tells us that there'd be a great big banquet somewhere in Victorian times. There wouldn't be a ladies' toilet.
Wow.
Because it was impossible.
It'd be too late by the time
it would be impossible. So there wasn't one. So, according to very few accounts, ladies sort of made sure they didn't drink anything during the day.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Hermodehydration.
Yeah. And then they'd faint.
Wow. Yeah, I guess that's why the fainting thing, I never knew. But it was just it
was grim.
Filmic license.
Oh.
So what do you take as like film license, and what do you choose? Like, this is going to be the fact, because obviously we're not making a documentary yet, and you're trying to make something that's cinematic, but it also has to be plausible to a degree. What were some of those sort of decisions, and also like the sort of tone, setting the tone, because that's a very big part of the world as well in any show. Is like, every show's going to be different.
I mean, in terms of writing, what always happens is that you take certain events that really happen because they're documented, and there's a date and there's a vague description of what happened, like the boxing bout or a crime was committed or whatever. So you take those things and use them as stepping stones for the journey, and you have to imagine, why did that character do that then, and then by this time was doing that. So what happened in between there? So that's where you get the the license to invent. But what consistently happens is that the real events are the ones that are the most unlikely and implausible. And the stuff in between you have to make plausible, otherwise people won't go with it. But what it teaches me is real life is chaos. And people do things that you would never expect them to do. And no one has an arc. Everyone is just doing whatever they do, getting by every day. And if you can try and capture that in the bits in between, then I think you're doing a good job.
And as long as you remain authentic, I think that's the key, isn't it? As long as it's authentic and real, what the characters are doing and the way that they're doing it and the world in which they live in, then I think you can kind of go anywhere with that. It's magic, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's good fun as well. What's great is having those stepping stones of reality gives you a bit of authority to say, look, I know that's really weird that person did that, but that's what they did.
Yeah, there's nothing to say that in that era things weren't like 10 times weirder than now. Because you didn't have this sort of frame of judgment of instant feedback in the news and social media and all that kind of thing. So I kind of always like to think that it was pretty wild and outlandish, and you probably had some like real characters.
Yeah.
Ready to soundtrack your summer? With Red Bull Summer All Day Play, you choose a playlist that fits your summer vibe the best. Are you a festival fanatic, a deep end DJ, a road dog, or a trail mixer? Just add a song to your chosen playlist and put your summer on track. Red Bull Summer All Day Play. Red Bull gives you wings. Visit redbull.com/brightsummer ahead to learn more. See you this summer.
You said this place was steps from the water.
We just haven't found the steps yet.
How much did we save?
Enough.
Enough to get lost?
Or you could book a stay with Hilton.
Welcome to your oceanfront room, just steps from the water.
The Hilton sale is on now. Book on Hilton.com or the Hilton app and save up to 20% to get the stay you expected. When you want savings, not surprises, it matters where you stay. Hilton, for the stay.
Bonjour, compadre. It's the
Priceline Negotiator.
How do I negotiate so many great travel deals? My greatest gadget, the Priceline app. It's got hotel deals, flight deals, rental car deals, all of those deals in a bundle. Deals, game day deals, concert trip deals. No one deals more deals than Priceline. Hold your horses, there's more. The app lets you filter hotels by neighborhood, vibe, star level, and amenities like pools and spas and beachfronts and... Wait, I'm not done. Stop cutting me off.
Priceline!
So just on the choosing directors side, how does that process work in terms of like who's good for picking shows? Do you just have a list of favorites, or were you sort of starting to think about people? Okay, yeah, they've done one of my previous shows, or this person feels like a nice fit for the era. How did that sort of...
I think it's finding the balance and finding the right mix. I mean, and also bringing on, again, being able to give a platform for people who are just newly experienced in that field. So for Ashley, for example, this was Ashley Walters. So he did, 3, 4, 5 and 6 of series 1, and it was his kind of first major experience, and he just excelled and absolutely smashed it out of the park. So again, it's being able to use more experienced directors and then less experienced directors, and be able to give them a chance to show what they can do as well. What
do you give them? Like when they, what's their sort of, because obviously you've built the world, they're coming into a show that you've created. What sort of extra materials are sort of sent to them ahead of, first experience on this show?
I mean, it's the script goes to them. That's, the shape of what we're going to do. And a lot of material that, in this particular case, a lot of it originally came from Hannah, which is, they call it a mood board, but it's, photos and images of what it really looked like and what people look like and how they dress. So then that sort of bounces back. The director then comes back with their vision of what they think they will do. And it's so important. And I think it's really weird that in film, when you're a writer, no one knows who you are.
No.
In television, it's the director who doesn't get the credit that they deserve, because they're the ones freezing cold and on a January day actually doing the work. And so I think there needs to be a rebalance. I think the directors are really, obviously central to how these things turn out.
Yeah.
Well, as a fellow director, I will advocate for that.
Of course.
Listen, it's been such a lovely chat. I really enjoyed speaking to you, and congratulations on all of your work today.
Thank you.
Keep doing great shows, and
thank you.
Cheers,
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Well, there we have it. Short but incredibly informative and sweet as well. 1,000 Blows is out on Disney and Hulu now. Check it out. It's brilliant. It's really, really cool. Especially if you're fans of Peaky Blinders or Adolescence, anything like that, you will love this series. I'm sure you've already seen it. How are you getting on? How are you doing? Are you okay? How's life treating you in 2026 so far? It's the end of February. Actually, it's March already. It's now beginning of March. What have you done so far this year to get your indie film, your TV series, your short film off the ground and made? What have you done? Have you reached out to that potential collaborator? Have you reached out to that investor? Have you got your decks in order? Have you understood your finance plan? You need to do all those things. You need to know. Have you made that script the best it can be within the inch of its life? If not, get on it. You've got one life. You've got one choice and chance at this. So get out there and do it. I am still in Bulgaria, but I've been having a brilliant time. I got pretty much all my lead cast back out for some additional footage, and my cinematographer, Andrew Roger. And we've just had an incredible couple of days filming a new opening for the film. We never really had one before, and now we've got this incredible opening. I'm very proud of how we shot it and what we did. And well, I had the cast. I did some pickups, some hand shots, some reactions, stuff that when you get to the edit, you're like, oh, if only we got that. Well, I could get them. So that was brilliant, and I loved it. Loved working back with my amazing cast: Jack Parr, Maribel Stewart, Sky Saw, who's playing my lead young boy, and of course Sophie Craig as well. What a team, what an amazing group of people, let alone actors, and that's been a treat. To get them back in those characters, in those costumes, and see them in that was just really great, considering me and Vesco have constantly watched them for the last 6 months, editing them. To them, they're like, oh, jumping back into something they did 5-6 months ago. For me, I see them every day, so it was really nice to see them alive and come alive within those characters again, and how quickly they got back into the roles, and how easy it was to let them fly. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to locking picture, hopefully in a week or so's time on Samadiva. It is a supernatural horror. It's very exciting. Sessions has all but been delivered now to our distributors internationally. The word from Berlin was very exciting, and I'm very pleased with that. That is my addiction drama, starring Daniel O'Reilly, Rupert Graves, Jonas Armstrong, Leo Gregory, produced by Lucinda Rhodes Thakrar, and again shot by Andrew Roger. There's a theme here, but anyway, all is good, and as you can probably tell by my voice, I'm feeling happy at the moment, if not very tired. I'm looking forward to a rest, but I'm also privileged that I can go out there and make films at the moment. But I've worked so hard for that. Believe me, for those newcomers who haven't listened to nearly 500 episodes of this Filmmakers Podcast, when I first started this, I just made my first film, also back over here in Bulgaria at New Bayana Studios, and I was just fresh off the boat. I was just fresh from making my first film, and that took 3 years. I think pretty much 2.5, 3 years from actually filming it in 2016 to it coming out in 2020, right as COVID hit. Which is fun, but that is life. And I've worked so hard since then to keep being a director and a producer and keep in this world, because it's very, very difficult. And for those of you who know what it's like. Don't expect anything. You've got to grit and put all your determination out there. You've got to grit. That doesn't even make sense. You've got to keep grinding. You've got to keep making the work for you, and that has to be full of grit. I think that's what I was trying to say. And determination. If it's not, then yeah, you just drift or you blame others. And it's not, it's about you. And you can't blame others. You've only got to blame yourself if it's not going right or things are going wrong. It is your fault. Because you've got to lead. You've got to lead from the front. And if you collaborate with the wrong people, that's on you. If you haven't pushed in the right way, that's on you. If you haven't got your opinion across in the right way or your vision, that's on you. Don't blame anyone else, or the lack of money, or the lack of equipment, or the lack of incompetent people, or the actual incompetent people. It is on you. And you need to be inspired, and you need to feel strong and confident, and just go out there and do it and believe in yourself. And know that your vision is correct, and know that what you're trying to do is something that you want on screen. And yeah, you can do it. Anyway, I hope to see you next Tuesday when it'll be our 500th episode. We should do something special. I've been meaning to, but I'm over here in Bulgaria and I'm trying to lock movies. So forgive me if it's not the 500th episode next week, but believe me, it will be soon. We'll have a little celebration and we'll do a live event or something. Something's going to happen. But if not, thank you for listening to 499 episodes. I'm sure you've listened to all of them. But I know some of you have listened to a lot. And I really appreciate you. I appreciate the journey that you've come on with me. And I really appreciate those who've gone out there and made a film and have been inspired because of this podcast. And that to me is really, really impressive, especially the team last week, Time Rewind. Lincoln had listened, he had been inspired, he went out there and made a movie. And you can do it. You can do it too. And if you're lucky enough to rise up and do well, it is your duty to send the elevator, or as Sophie Craig said the other day, the rope back down. And I love that. We will see you very shortly. Hopefully I'll see you in an event and you can come and say hello. And I won't bite, I promise. Well, I might. Depends how tasty you are. Until then, take care. I've been Giles Alderson. I didn't say it at the beginning, but hopefully it's obvious by now. Until then, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.